this video, we're going to have a glimpse into Edward de Bono's book, Six Thinking Hats. But Edward de Bono wrote this way back in the 50s. He actually talked about 6 types of thinking and how most of these usually clash in different scenarios. Think about it. In a meeting in an organization, a person A has an idea and says, "Whoa, let's do this." Immediately, a person B comes up with why this idea will not work, and A and B have a tussle. Now, this becomes what is called as adversarial thinking, where B becomes an adversary for A, an opponent for A. And then later on in the future, at some point of time, when B comes up with a fantastic idea, who's lurking back there in the corner actually wanting to oppose it? You're right, it's A. And this adversarial thinking constantly impacts the effectiveness of any brainstorming or any decision making. The goal of de Bono's 6 thinking hats is to move from adversarial thinking to parallel thinking, which is for both A and B to look at how A's idea works and then to look at how B's point also works. So there is a sense of parallel thinking that both A and B are thinking about how both the ideas of A and B work together. So moving from adversarial to parallel thinking is a powerful example or a powerful concept of the 6 thinking hats. Now, what according to de Bono are the 6 thinking hats? Here is a quick recap. You can go through a number of online sites, or I suggest that you read the book for you to get a detailed understanding of each hat. The first hat is called the white hat. The white hat that reminds us of blank space and a whiteboard. It is nothing but what is called the data hat. It talks about facts, figures and information which are accurate, and there is a proof as to where they actually came from. Anytime we are talking about data, we are using the white hat. The second hat is called the green hat. The green hat is the creativity hat. Think plants, greenery, vegetation, growth, a forest. The green hat is about thinking of ideas to solve problems, and it is about generating more and more alternatives towards one particular solution. And there are times that we need brainstorming sessions to really think of great ideas. The third hat is called the red hat, which is nothing but the feelings hat. Red denotes to us about danger. It also denotes love and the heart and the blood flow. When I say the feelings hat, it is of course the emotions too, but not just the emotions. It also involves the various intuition, the gut feeling and the hunches that we get that this is going to work or this is not going to work. And we just cannot attribute a rationale as to why we really feel so. Also, a lot of times at work, we say emotions don't have a role at work, right? We only need to bring in logic. But we like it or not, feelings and emotions do come in, but they come in disguised as logic. So acknowledging the red hat is an important part of the 6 thinking hats. The fourth hat is the yellow hat, which is the optimism hat. This is the hat that talks about the positive impact, the logical, positive rationale or reason why an idea is great or why something will work or how you can add value to a particular idea or a concept. The yellow hat is popularly known as the pros or about the advantages, merits or benefits of any particular idea, product, process or thought. The fifth hat is called the black hat, which is also called the challenges hat. This talks about the potential hurdles. Black, think of a judge's robes. Think about night. It's about that part of your brain that thinks about why something will really go wrong. Just like the yellow hat may remind you of eternal optimism and sunshine, the black hat reminds us of the logical negative, the rationale of why something will not work, potential hurdles, problems and risks that might come forward and that you really may not know how to cross forward. This type of thinking, though a lot of times is really looked down and opposed because we say don't be a pessimist, but the black hat or the challenge hat is a powerful and integral part of any decision making process that says pros and cons. It's an integral part of any evaluation process that says advantages and disadvantages. It is also extremely essential in risk mitigation. And these yellow and black hat together can be a powerful thought process for evaluation and decision making. And a black hat with the green hat can be a powerful way to understand the challenges and brainstorm for effective ideas. The last hat, the sixth hat, is nothing but the blue hat, which is the facilitator hat. Much like the ocean or the sky that is all across and present everywhere, the blue hat is a facilitator who stays neutral and calm and manages the entire thinking process. In the meeting, one individual is always wearing the facilitator hat while also wearing the other hats. But when you as one person is trying to use all the hats, you have to also consciously wear the facilitator hat and manage the rest of your thinking. Now, using these hats, just by knowing what they are, may not be that simple for you to use them properly. Bono talks about using them in a sequence. Every situation, every scenario starts with a blue hat to set the context and ends with a blue hat to look forward to the next steps and decision making. And in between comes 3 to 4 to maximum maybe 5 or 6 other hats. And these hats can be reused. You can use the green hat more than once, and maybe in one situation doesn't need a yellow hat at all. Each hat can be between 2 to 4 to even 6 minutes sometimes, with the exception of the red hat that got to be instant, which is less than 30 seconds or so. Else, you will start looking at logic and rationale. By using these hats in a sequence, whether it is for individual decision making, or it is for individual analysis, or it is to brainstorm or lead an effective meeting, there are 3 ways that these sequences can be done. Initially, when you're starting off, before the meeting, before your activity, sit and while creating the agenda, create a fixed sequence. Also, over a period of time, you can create what is called a flexible sequence. Means you will walk in with a fixed sequence, but if people agree to the idea, we will go in one direction. If they don't agree to it, we will go in another direction. This is what is called a flexible sequence. And as you become an expert in using these hands, you can start doing an evolving sequence wherein you don't go with a fixed sequence and you let it happen at that point of time. The danger, however, is an evolving sequence may be very similar to right at the start before using the 6 hats, which is chaotic adversarial thinking. Hence, a fixed and a flexible sequence is what we need to use to really get used to using the 6 thinking hats. Bono's been asked so many times about a purple hat or a pink hat, but he says, and his concept, everything can come together in these 6 hats. And for an organization or an individual to make effective decisions, each individual needs to consciously be willing to explore and look at each hat, and together as a group, people can move to excellent decisions. Read the book and understand a lot more about how this powerful concept can be useful for you. This is Revati Turaga from the Leadership Unlocked channel. Like, share, subscribe, and come back to watch more. Thank you.